Probably weren't on, which hello everybody, thanks for joining us. I guess the intro of this kind of went wrong, which is kind of fitting because today kind of went wrong, didn't it?
Yeah. It's gone along with everything else, isn't it?
Fuck's sake. All right.
I'm all right. Do you know what I mean? That's it. But I'm just about all right. Yeah. It's sort of.
Oh God.
We've got to get used to this, haven't we? As it says maybe in the title of this video.
Yeah, get used to this.
What do you reckon? How do we start talking about that?
You have to kind of go, well, last week, sort of didn't really know how that team was going to score goals, and it scored a penalty. And then this week, the same thing, although I thought we actually created quite a few chances today. We just didn't put them away.
I can think of two really good ones, the Maguire one and the Mata one.
The Rashford one when he ran into the box, seemingly with no one around him.
Yeah, that was weird. He never even... It looked like it was going to be a good chance, but he never even got to turn it into a half chance because he just messed it up, didn't he? But, yeah, it was... and he's injured now as well. All my strikers have fallen off. Like, where's everyone gone?
I just done the full-time Devils one. On there, I was saying, like, Llorente on a free transfer is an absolute tap-in. Why wouldn't you... I mean, I even said Andy Carroll, and I was kind of only half joking about Andy Carroll, because I'm like, look, he offers something totally fucking different to what you've got. He's available on a free, and you know what? When he's fit, he's pretty good.
But then if you're someone like Andy Carroll, or, like, comparing it to Fellaini, someone like that, do you want to go to a club like United where you're just going to be a scapegoat when you get brought on? You're Llorente, you get brought on, say you don't score. Why have we got players like Llorente in the club?
You can say that about everybody, can't you?
So look at the amount of stick he used to get.
Here's the match stats that we've got then. So 2 goals, obviously, 8 shots, 6 on target. Is enough to pull a goal out with that. Yeah. At least. Slight more possession. That's interesting because all the way through the game we had less possession than them.
It must have been last 20 minutes.
They must have just let us have it for a bit. And a few corners, which obviously we all know was never doing fuck all from a corner anyway.
No.
Couple of players that we're going to look at. Scott McTominay, at least in my mind, I always go and watch the match back, usually like on my own in the fucking dark at about 11 o'clock on a Sunday night is when I usually just like, because then I don't have to fucking talk to anyone and I can just watch the match properly. Like when you're doing a watch along, it's kind of hard. Even at the game, like I have to watch it back to really figure out what just happened. But 86% pass completion, 1 chance created, 3 take-ons out of 3, 4 ball recoveries, 2 tackles, 1 clearance. On the face of those stats, looks like a pretty solid game from him.
Yeah. I think it's a long series of pretty solid games from him, isn't it? He doesn't make too many mistakes. I think we're seeing a little bit more from him going forward.
Is this the benefit of playing in a consistent position and knowing that you're starting week in, week out, do you think?
Well, I'm sure it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt. Like, knowing that he's got a position in the starting lineup not no matter what, but kind of no matter what at the minute, innit? Like, there's no one else. No one's going to take that position. Jesus
Christ, is there not now? Not Matic for starters.
No, well, yeah, maybe we shouldn't talk about him, but he's offering more.
He's not dead.
It feels a bit like he is, though, doesn't it? It feels
a
like
little bit.
If there's nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. We're in that sort of position with Matic.
Pass map there, a few forward, a few, into not enough into the final third, and I'm sure that's going to be a thing. But kept it ticking, fairly nice. We also have Fred. Let's have a look at Fred, because there's a lot of people clamouring for Fred to start after the performance midweek, which I thought was decent.
Yeah, he looked good.
77% pass completion, lower than McTominay's, but I expect that from someone who I know is going to be trying to create chances. Yeah. 2 chances created in, what, was it like 20 minutes
20
he was
minutes
on?
Or
I think he came on at the 70th.
Yeah.
4 ball recoveries, 1 out of 2 tackles, 10 passes forward. Straight away, let's have a look at his pass map. Instantly you can see that there's a lot more trying to go forward there. A couple of chances created, a couple didn't really come off, as you've seen.
We haven't got many people on the pitch who can make those forward passes, have we?
No.
It's just like, it's either sideways or let's hope Dan James can sprint past people. Like, that was the main tactic. After Rashford went off, the only person who looked anything like getting near the goal was Dan James.
The screen's gone off, Cam.
Yeah, the screen's gone off there. See his 2 chances created. Neither of them into the box though. Like the rest of the chances.
Someone's still got a right load of work to do.
Yeah.
Now, if you contrast that to, we haven't actually got that stuff to hand, but if you contrast that to what City's chance creation looks like, it's just arrows around the penalty spot, it's essentially, isn't it? Coming into the middle there.
Yeah, we don't make enough chances. Today didn't feel like a good team against a mid-table team, and we were unlucky. It felt like 2 teams that are about as good as each other. They put their chances away, and we didn't. It didn't. Yeah, there was no feel of we should win. We should have won that, or they got. Oh, it was one of those. Like, obviously, they scored a brilliant goal with a free kick, but in the Wolves game, it kind of felt like they needed that brilliant goal because they weren't going to score otherwise.
Yeah.
In this game, we weren't going to score, and they
score.
could have scored. That was a lovely goal, their first goal as well, but they had other chances. It was just, they just play better than us and beat us, which is the hardest thing to take for me. Is it doesn't feel like we're a big team that is losing to a smaller team. We're just
and I think
a mid-table team.
You are going to have to kind of get used to this a little bit, and that's sort of what I was itching at before. With I think when you see the squad stripped the way it's been stripped, Fellaini, Lukaku, Sanchez, I think all of us probably agree that we're probably going to be better off with them leaving. But the squad is weaker.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt. We said this all along. What happens if Marshall and Rashford, who are not the most injury-resistant players in the world, get injured? And fuck me, they're both injured. And now you're looking at Mason Greenwood, who I think was probably going to start Wednesday anyway.
Yeah.
But if he's got to start against Arsenal, what the fuck?
Was it tonsillitis he had today, apparently?
Allegedly.
How long does that take to get rid of and to recover from? Is he going to be 100% by Arsenal?
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, and outside of him, people are like, we'll just go back to the academy. No.
That's
Mason,
the academy.
Mason was knocking on the door.
Yeah.
The rest of them, the other one that might have had half a chance of knocking on the door was Nishan Burkhardt, and he plays for Freiburg now in Bundesliga. So
yeah, there's Gomez, Chong, Greenwood. That is the academy. They're 18. He's 17.
That was the ones that was knocking on the door.
Yeah.
The rest of them, they're not ready,
They're a
and
big
that's
step away from that.
Yeah, they're a huge step away from
Yeah.
it. They were the ones that were really pushing after doing it for a couple of seasons. Anybody else that gets flung in now has been totally flung in, especially in the forward areas. We are we are non-existent in players in those areas, which is what makes it more maddening that we didn't, even like a fucking Welbeck, you know what I mean, or a Llorente, or just some fucker.
A body, someone who's played 50 Premier League games to come on.
Yeah, and
when
you go,
we need
mate,
them.
you know you're not going to play unless everyone's injured.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll give you 30 grand a week, 40 grand a week.
Yeah,
You
I
can
don't
come
give
and-
a
you can
fuck
play
if they're
20 games off the bench.
94 years of age. Like, if you're bringing in... Zlatan's a bad example for this because Zlatan thinks he should be playing week in, week out.
Say Llorente.
Yeah, Llorente.
Yeah. Should have someone in there. We're just, like I said, we're just non-existent. We've got 3 injuries for our front 3 now.
Do you know what? We're looking at a forward line that's been playing badly.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's been playing badly as it's been made out to be. Graham Souness said, and I rarely agree with Graham Souness, the midfield completely overran and doesn't create anything, and you go, well, I can't really pick any holes in that.
No. Pereira he put that cross in for Mata, but other than that, I can't think of anything that the midfield did. Like we said, it was Rashford on that run that he sort of tripped over the ball, Dan James on that run toward the end where he hit the outside netting. Like, it's all being created by the attackers for themselves almost. The link-up play from midfield to the attack.
How many times do you see an easy finish from United? I don't know what's going on with this, why this is wigging out like this. I'm sure there's probably a loose connection. I think that's a fucking sign.
Yeah.
That this is just fucking not digging it in the slightest, is it?
No. So midweek then? What do you want to see there? What have we got to look forward to midweek?
I would like to see us try something else in midfield, whether it's time for Jimmy Garner, whether that's time for another 90 minutes from Fred. Look, if Fred puts in another 90 minutes, on top of the 20 good minutes he's had here today, on top of what he did against Astana, because you got to go, it was fucking Astana. Of course he should have played well.
Yeah.
And Rochdale will be, of course he should have played well against Rochdale. But he was 20 good minutes against West Ham, so let's not discount that.
Yeah.
He probably has moved his way up in the pecking order to start against Arsenal, and I wouldn't have an issue with that. I mean, look, Arsenal's a midfield that I think you can probably get the better of, and certainly a defence that you want to get on top of. I have no fucking idea how that game's going to go.
No, I think we're probably going to see Lingard come back in, who has had great games against Arsenal in the past.
Yeah.
And how much do you think that plays into it, the sort of the form against the team you're playing rather than your actual current form?
To be honest, Lingard probably wouldn't have been a better shout than Mata because you needed energy. You wanted work rate today. Mata didn't do anything wrong, but he didn't really do anything right. He wasn't really involved in the game in any sort of way. The issue that I mentioned earlier as well, like when you look at that bench, you go, where's the game winners? Where's the match winners? Who's going to come in and actually do something here that's going to make an impact in this game? Who's going to change it? We said Dan James probably would be a good option off the bench, but he fucking starts. And if he doesn't start, who are you starting?
Who does? No one, yeah.
This squad is so thin, it's a fucking joke.
There were no strikers on the bench at all today.
No. And I've seen people have already started wigging out for Ollie. Ollie might not be the right man, but do you know what? You're not going to know this for a couple of... Or you shouldn't really get to know this for a couple of years because this squad is so paper thin. He's done some great things in transforming the culture of the squad. He's changed it from being, quite a mercenary-ish, heavy sort of squad with your Sanchez and your Fellaini's and your Lukaku's, and he started to slowly get rid of a lot of the deadwood, and he's brought through some youth, and do you know what? They might not be fucking good enough. They might be Kevin Pilkinsons rather than your Ryan Giggses. Yeah. But guess what? We're going to find out whether they sink or swim. We're going to find out pretty fucking quick.
Yeah, I think before the season, there were so many people saying we need to get rid of Lukaku, get rid of Pogba. If you don't want to be here, you can leave. If you don't want... Eventually, you're left with a team that can't win any games. And we've seen, obviously, Pogba's not playing now. But there's a reason why... And like I said, in a year or two's time, I'm sure we will hopefully be sort of reaping the benefits of getting rid of players that don't want to be at the club. But sometimes you have to have good players at the club, regardless of how happy they are, regardless of this, because you need to win some games.
How ordinary is our midfield without Pogba? And loads of people probably quite right to say it's pretty ordinary with him in it. Yeah, cool.
But it's 10 times better than
probably better than when he's not in there overall. Yeah, I mean we've won some good games without him playing. We've also fucking lost some as well. So I think Pogba unfortunately gets the brunt of everyone's criticism and ire because he was a world record signing, and we know the ability is there, and more often than not we don't really get to see that. I mean, some of the numbers that he puts up are fantastic, but there's decision making in games where you go, I expect better from you, from the player in your position. I don't mean midfield, I mean in terms of his hierarchical in the squad. I expect better from there. Roy Keane said it today, bang on. I mean, it was always going to be like this, wasn't it, with Roy Keane, fucking Mourinho and Souness, but it spoke about the lack of character.
Have been begging for Sky, the producers at Sky were so hoping for us to lose so that they could just
they were just going to clip the entire thing up, weren't they?
Exactly.
Jesus Christ, it was going to be an absolute fucking Pogba annihilation. But I'm sure, we didn't have the sound on, obviously I was doing the watch long, but I'm sure he's probably mentioned a good 414 times today.
There's too much pressure on Pogba, obviously, and I think if you put any one world-class player in this squad, they aren't going to take it into a title-challenging team.
No,
I don't think there's any player in the world that could do that.
We arguably need to be for just to get back on track.
Talk about it,
Jesus! Just to get back on track, we need a couple of world-class players to be a title-challenging team. We need a 25. Realistically, you probably need a 30-goal season striker.
Yeah.
That's the norm now.
That's what everyone has.
You probably need a world-class midfielder or two. You probably need a winger of the Gareth Bale level. That's a match winner on their own when they decide. Sometimes you probably need another world-class defender. You probably need some backup players
left back.
of international standard. You're probably 10 fucking side, which is a joke because we spent like 900 million in 6 years. But it's not been like you can arguably City wasted a hell of a lot of money, but they also have started to make some great signs. Liverpool wasted outrageous amounts of money, but they've also started to make more right ones than wrong ones. We've lurched from this manager's philosophy to this manager's philosophy to signings that like Di Maria, which was a definite fucking commercial entity signing.
That was like an excited kid. Who's a oh, we can get him. Yeah, get him.
Did he just get man of the match in the Champions League final?
That'd be amazing.
Oh,
yeah. Falcao was the same thing. He sounds great. Yeah, get him. Just buy him. Don't matter.
Fuck me, I was excited when we signed Falcao.
Yeah, me too. It seemed so good, and it seemed impossible that could go wrong.
Falcao.
He was so good.
He's so South American.
Best striker in the world. El Tigre.
He's got long hair. Yeah. He's like a matador. Oh.
Amazing. And then,
and that shows you how poor our midfield's been for 6 years. Is that at one point we had Rooney, Falcao and Robin Van Persie all in the same team and still fucking couldn't score loads of goals. So it's not the strikers.
No.
Even though, yes, I think the strikers at the moment is about as thin as it's fucking been.
Yeah.
I mean, you're asking Marcus to double what he's ever done, ever. And like I said before, it'd still be called shit and not be good enough.
No. Yeah, if he got 20 goals this season and we finished 6th, he'd still get slugged off.
Yeah.
People only like anyone on the team when the whole team is playing well. Correct. Otherwise, you're all shit. Yeah. Don't matter how well a person...
John O'Shea, was he mint? Do you know what? Won a lot. Yeah. I've seen Anderson's just retired, which is hilarious. Retired with
He's only 31.
Retired with 4 Premier League winners' medals. And people are like, Anderson was great, wasn't he? Yeah, no. A lot of times he was frustrating as fuck.
Yeah, it was.
But he was in a successful team.
Yeah.
And that's why he'll be remembered fondly. Like the likes of John O'Shea and even Nani. Fuck me, Nani would get crucified if he was in this team now because... that most elusive day of days, Nanny Day.
Yeah, exactly.
On his day, he'll beat everyone. Well, when was that? Because he's never on a fucking match day.
Like he kicks the ball out, it's someone else's fault, or he's trying to get a free kick, or he just puts it in the crowd. Like he was very inconsistent, but he was, like you said, nanny day, amazing. Santa's bin, nanny day's here.
Nanny day.
He just turns up and destroys
He's actually
everyone.
fucking ballonged one into the top corner.
Yeah.
Do you know what, though? That's the problem with highlights, is that you look at me and go, fuck me.
Yeah.
But do you know what? He tried that 17 times when a pass was on 16 times. And you're like, mate. And, anyway. Do you know what? Me and Joe will be on Stretford Paddock tomorrow for the Brute at 4 o'clock live, where we'll actually be reading questions because, do you know what? People will have a cup of tea and it'll be a bit calmer. I don't even want to look at the questions today because I can imagine it's just arguing and fucking fighting, and do you know what? Don't need that.
No.
We all watched the game. We all fucking know it sucked. But let's not fall out over it, eh? So come and join us for a cup of tea. Bring your own biscuits, and we'll fucking dissect it properly and everything else that's happened at the weekend because, by all accounts...
What score? What are we looking at?
Villa are beating Arsenal. So,
there might be a
no matter how bad it
yet.
is for United, Arsenal always give you a fucking reason to smile.
Arsenal is, there's still to turn it on this season. There's still hope.
Yeah, right. So I'll see you at 4 o'clock tomorrow. In a bit.